Welcome to our mental health awareness series where we embark on a journey of understanding and compassion. In this installment, we shine a spotlight on a topic often overlooked but crucial to address: Black mental health.
My name is Michelle. I'm of East African background. I was born in Kenya, but I grew up here in Canada.
My name is Dario Andrews. I'm an Afro-Bahamian Canadian male who's originally from the islands of the Nassau, Bahamas. Actually, the complete opposite. I did not disclose or discuss any topics of mental health. Actually, it was there, but it wasn't something that we would discuss openly. Luckily for me, I had a very open-minded mother and father where I had access to communicating with them when I was in a depressive state or if I was feeling a bit down. But as far as actually working through it, speaking with friends and connecting to say, hey, well, I'm not feeling well today, it wasn't a thing that we talked about, especially, I guess, being a male as well. It was one of those things that we generally kept to ourselves. If we weren't doing well, we kind of just worked our way out of it, if that made sense.
Historically growing up, not so much, and I think maybe it's because of the perception of mental health in a lot of African cultures and how it's sort of linked to like witchcraft and curses, and even sort of faith plays into that as well. The combination of culture and faith and how that, having mental health that isn't very positive is a representation of you almost saying God's will for you as in almost a negative way, and potentially vocalizing something that could have the perception of you being cursed. So there's definitely been a very negative stigma around mental health in the African culture based on my experience, and I think that's caused a lot of shame. And the idea of being well in African cultures is often associated with material things. So when you get into talking about mental health and how you're doing, that's just out of the equation. Yes, definitely. So I work in a professional setting, and I would say in almost every professional setting I've been in terms of just different employers, I am the only one or one of a very small number of Black people and Black women. And so that's been very challenging to almost carry this weight of answering all of the questions about, for example, hair, different hairstyles, and even, I guess even this challenge to just when we're talking about hair, wear my hair naturally. There's definitely been a lot of shame that I've carried into the workplace in terms of being comfortable with how I'm presenting myself, in terms of the way that I dress, including just what my hair looks like. In terms of carrying the weight of answering certain questions, I think around 2020 as well, when there was just a lot of discussions about the treatment towards Black people, I felt like I was pressured to just be the one to have a lot of those conversations with non-Black people in a professional setting. And again, answer a lot of those questions. So I think I've experienced that in a professional setting in a very exhausting way, in a very challenging way. I feel like I continue to this day, honestly.
Growing up inside the Black community, if you had any mental health concerns or prolonged state of depressiveness, you're considered either crazy or you're weak. And for the long part of my life, I wouldn't expose myself to speak about anything because I didn't want to be considered crazy or weak. So I just kind of dealt with it, which in turn made me a bit crazy. It made me not the best version of myself. So I think, these stigmas need to be debunked because each and every one of us go through a state of depression, a state of being sad, a state of being happy. we all experience mental health in our own way at some point in time in our life. And unless we're open and honest about these conversations and have a safe place where we can actively speak about these things, then we're not going to progress as a community.
I would say there's just this constant idea of being a strong Black woman. And while that is, like a positive trope, I guess, there's a lot of challenges with just that statement, I think. And I feel like the ways that Black women maybe feel like they need to show up in different spaces with the idea of being a strong Black woman may mean that you can't be weak. And that may mean that if you do have some mental health challenges, get rid of that as soon as possible. And I think that has looked like pushing away those potential ideas of you being unwell. So I think sometimes the ways in society we talk about the strength of Black women, or even just the strength of Black people, and just this confidence that Black people just have and like that Black women have, can sometimes, as a Black person, make you feel like then you can't just show up in a space and maybe not be well. I mean, I think being as open and honest with yourself is one big thing. I would encourage everyone to just continue to seek out their own voice, how they're hearing themselves, how they're speaking to themselves without even realizing. I think that's often a good place to start.
I think it's important to be grounded in your foundations, grounded inside your roots, but also open to whatever you're gonna experience while you're here, and not just close yourself off into like isolated spaces and communities, because life is about evolution, life is about growth, it's about constant growth. And if we just stay inside our little corners, we're not gonna be exposed to something greater than what we had before.